Hello, it is the 7th day of April 2017. My name is Derek and welcome. Let's do a crypto video. We'll start off within the Bitcoin chart in US dollars, as well as 5 different cryptocurrencies in depth analysis: LTC, Flow, Monetary Unit, PIVX, and Belva. I have found some good upside targets and even the down levels that Belva should be if it goes hog wild, that is. Thank you for all of the gifts sent to the channel. Much appreciated. So let's get started within the Bitcoin chart, up to 1183 right now, as it has been continuing the extension above this 18 average since it bottomed at around 900. That's a 300 basis point gain on 9. That's 33%. The duration of time, a couple of weeks. This is probably one of the lowest volatile cryptocurrency charts. I'm going to show you a couple of the more volatile ones later on within this video. Of the 5, that would be this area here. Now that's within the 18 average band, key support, and of course that would be the correctionary phase towards it. This up target of 1286 is still in play, and that's about it for the Bitcoin trend as it continues the upward movement. Let's now move on to the cryptocurrency charts. Let's start off within the Litecoin chart. And this one's been going on for quite some time. This is the daily, and it had a big move on the end of March, breaking around this 4,000 approximate handle and making it up to 11.3. So there's close to tripling in a little while, with of course this massive day along the way. Fibonacci retracement right now is based on this particular high, and what it states is, first off, we have 76.4, which is 23.6 on the way down. That's how much it is on the way up. So once subtract such as 23.6, we can find that number roughly around here. What do I see? Well, the second previous day on Thursday, it came down to that period, retraced up at least to here, and has now settled back down again, retesting that support area before it was where previous resistance was also in place. So the resistance of the start of the month, end of March, is where it is. Now, interestingly enough, if we look further, the last big high well before this is 32,494, decently above, which has some key Fibonacci levels in at 13,125, which is a decent chunk above this level. And even noticing if it hits there, you'd probably pierce it maybe closer to 15K, and that's still a hit, even though it's 1,000 or 2,000 points above. It would be, especially when you have, say, a situation where if it comes back higher, maybe it comes up to 14.9 and then it settles back down and then it ranges around the 13K. That's normal Fibonacci action. And it kind of makes sense that it might continue to move up towards that level because, well, one, there's a good, decent chunk move, which is really what you're looking for amongst the amongst such. But within where Fibonacci lies, if it does make it up here, then this level would work here. It would make more sense, actually, if it does go higher. But for me, all I can do is just watch this, and if it comes down here, I'll buy. Other than that, that's all I am doing with this. Other than small day trading on one of the sites, that doesn't really mean much. It's just like playing a video game. In fact, it is a video game for me, and it's only for low stakes. But as far as anything of a decent number, I'll speculate in here. Let's move on now to flow. And this is a very, very, very interesting chart to say the least. What I've written on the top, it has quickly 3x hit previous 2x resistance. Now, as far as some of these moves are concerned, I have noticed within where I get my data, cryptocompare.com, that some of the data might be wrong. However, the fact that these highs were here is correct. This is the correct bottom, and these last few days have all been manually checked. Well then, what happens here is you come up to this level, which was the second time it hit it. Because it hit it here. A few days. It took a couple days to settle, but it hits it. Comes back, and then today's session is breaking it. Again, this resistance point here, break it out above, and for the third time in the past few days, it is testing this significant area. It's actually pierced above it technically, but you know what? That doesn't mean much. It's still at the level. But this thing almost seems as if it has the mojo, if you will, to get going. When we look at how the Fibonacci levels have played through. I mean, this one has played well. I have an up target at 53.80. I take this by taking a key high, and where it goes down to a key correction, which is down here. So I divide this number by this low to the exponent of 161.8% or 1.618. Then I multiply that number by the low, and the number comes up to 53.80. So if there's any key breakouts, that is where I would be expecting there to be a where we could make it towards. Now, I think for myself, what I'd be hoping for is for it to break above this, maybe close to the 2,000, and then come back to 17. And even break up to like 23, 25. Just some sort of decent number. And then a good entry point will be when it comes back to here. But for that to be the case, it needs to convincingly break this number, which would then set up a decent pullback where I think there'd be the next key buying opportunity on weakness. Because myself, I buy weakness most of the time and sell on strength. But if you're the type of person that likes to buy when the market's got good momentum towards the upside, this thing is really showing very good indicators, and it's looking pretty interesting. Because normally, if you tell me here, okay, it comes down, it's starting to go up. Oh, what do I do when it comes up here? You sell. Okay. Well, hopefully if you sold, you have at some point managed to maybe get a little bit of it back in, because if you sell here at 1,400 and it comes back to this point here, if you're not buying again, I don't know what to say, because that's the key thing of technicals. You come to an area, it takes a long time to get back. You usually find resistance, and it has on a couple of occasions already. So the more often you test it, the more likely it is you take it out, and that's what it's looking like it's got a decent chance of doing. Now, reaching that 53.80 would probably take some time to do so. You probably move up to something here, back to previous resistance, and then make some patterns of higher highs and higher lows. That could take several weeks, maybe, I don't know, weeks, maybe months, if it takes a long, long time to triple. And actually quad almost. That's how big these volatile moves can be. Speaking of volatility, this one's not available on Poloniex. It is on the Bittrex exchange. Maybe other ones. I don't know which others, but definitely it's on Bittrex. Sorry if there was a weird sound there, as I just accidentally moved the mic. Okay, within this chart, it's extreme. The volatility is extreme. I got this high at 53.98 and a low in at 86, just a bit before here. 86 to 53.98. And then you have a light retracement back down to 1,000. Light. From 54 to 1,000, losing 70+%. That's a light retracement. It's a good one. But then you have a decent rally from 1,000 up to a little over 2,000. Yeah, gain about 100+%. And yeah, very, very, very interesting to say the least. But now, as far as technical analysis is concerned, I've already went through the fact that this thing is volatile as anything. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what you got here. I don't know if the data on this high is correct. But I don't think it is. But the bottom line, these movements are, this high has come into play. And the Fibonacci, which had perfect support originally, came back up to this level. Originally was supporting it. Then it resisted it while it maintained its previous support level. It has now broken above it, has established resistance when we look at this 18 trend. And now this previous resistance is support, or that's what I'd be looking for it to move towards. Now I'm going to adjust the Fibonacci retracement within this. So let's do that now. I'm using it from this high and this low. So after this area was settled in for an extended period of time, today's session moved up to this point, pretty much right in perfect. And it's got an up target at 36.24. 36.24, even up here. But you know, it usually pierce above, but this wasn't much of a pierce in here. But still, what this means for me is, and I am holding this, whereas flow, I day traded today and I didn't do anything else. But this one I'm holding, and it means I don't put too many sell orders here. But I do around 36 a little more aggressively. And it also means that I got more buy orders. In fact, I don't got any buy orders until down here. So I'm buying all the way in here. And I got sell orders all the way higher, including insane levels as well. But as far as managing them in the midterm, right above here you don't want to do. 3,600, 3,700. Okay. And then the next bigger area to do is previous high, because like I stated before, when you go to an area that you haven't been to in a while, so on the situation when it moves up here, expect a level of resistance. With the key support level, it's already, I can state, as in here, and will be 37 as well. But that's when, of course, it manages it to make it to this level. Taking the Fibonacci from this high to this low brings an up target in at 15,302. And that's pretty decent sized number, which all I can say is it's just a move, because this thing can go really, really wild, to say the least, because of it's just one of the wild movements. I have no idea anything about it on a fundamental level. I just know that it's got historically been moving for the time it's had anyway, really wild. And that when you're playing these, you're giving yourself very high risk, very high reward. But the beautiful thing about this setup is, as long as you control risk management, the most you can lose is 100% of what you put in. But your reward can be much, 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 much greater than such. Okay, so now as far as the next chart is concerned, I just want to... Okay, did I just Fibonacci? Anyway, I got two different... this is the wrong chart. Let me fix this. Okay, no, this is fine. This is the 3-hour chart for PivX. And it as well has extreme volatility, up over 100 times so far for the year, just a little over 3 months in, as it's been going up a lot. So as far as Fibonacci from this high and this low, we have 5,600 in here. I've only got 2 lines written in, but we can see that this level, which has been support on a couple times, has worked out fairly well. This level, perfect resistance, and here we can see it was resisting and supporting that area. It's been in this range now for quite some time. However, if you're looking to buy on bullish strength, it's looking good now. You can also wait to get in at this point here, but what I like about this type of situation is you got this upward 18 average band. You resist it here. You come back to the band like this, and it's making your higher highs, higher lows. You basically have this nice ascending triangle pattern. This level of resistance has definitely been holding well, but it just seems like it's a matter of time, like it wants to break. And within this, if it's looking to do such, then it's going to go pretty big. I only got 2 areas of resistance. Well, 3. Next one in at around 8,600, previous high. And then the previous high before that, 9,700. And the upside target for this, from this high and this low, translates into that of 16,753. Again, this is one of those wild charts that are going to have large moves, just going down 70%. That's nothing. Oh, it tripled. A nice intraday move or intra-week move. That's how a lot of these are reacting. So yes, that is the PivX chart, looking very, very, very good right now. When you have a situation where something very bullish, amazing bullish setup is in play and it doesn't do it, then you can oftentimes have a very harsh move in the other direction. This happens more in stuff like gold and silver. It happened today in silver, actually. A very bullish move appeared. It didn't happen in a huge intraday fall. But the same would be true with this. If you see a red candle in here, you could very easily have decent sized movements within such. Now, within this one in here, there seems to be very good fundamentals, but I have a hard time understanding them for the most part. I purely look mostly at the mathematics of such and just how like the technical analysis is, and that part is supported. So if this thing, if you feel that it is way underpriced, and from what I researched, it looks like it might be, then there's definitely a lot of good gains in the long term for this, and short term this looks like it's getting some gains coming as well. Let's finish this off within the Belva chart. And interesting one to say the least, because after finishing off 2016 and starting 2017 in this range bound market, it has been in this uptrend for most of this year. The up target that I have for the next one is 31,250, and I'll explain how I come up with this number in a bit. As far as down targets are concerned, at least throwing out short-term day trading stuff, the next one doesn't appear until really even 9,000, as that would be an area of previous resistance. You have the psychological 10,000 number as well, but this would just be a 23.6 correction from the breakout low of 1187. That's where I'm calculating it from, and this high. Now when I look at where Fibonacci is, this line is right at a key high. This line is also at a key high, 3261 not drawn in. Well, it is also at a key high. This is one way of figuring out upside, where it would be easy to call 16,000 when it was back here, and I think I kind of did call it, but it makes it easy to call because Fibonacci points just usually seem to go to the key points. That's just how it normally works. So if this is to go up big, then what this means is for this line to move here, price action would have to get to 31.2. That's how I'm calculating it. And it really would make sense that if you have any type of hog wild move, it just goes insanely crazy because you're supposed to top and it doesn't. Maybe it goes sideways for a week and it comes higher. That's going to be the resistance regardless of the fact. If this thing goes up now, I'll think of that. If we have any type of retracement and it's ready to go, then I'll say the next move, I'll be looking at 31. And we'll see if I can go 3 for 3 because I called 5 to 6K here. I called 16K here. And I might not be right at this stage because it hasn't topped yet. It's obviously had 3 amazing days in so far. And in a bull market, you could, as long as there's people willing to buy at these prices and there's a lack of sellers, then it's going to keep going higher. Normally, though, you do get corrections from this point. I just like to, in this situation, talk about the alternative because alternatives here are huge. And it wouldn't surprise me if, say, Monday, it has green candle, and it is well into the 20,000s or up to the 31,000 number because failed move, fast move. Failed move to find resistance where you're supposed to is going to have a fast move in the opposite direction, and resistance going down, though, well, that's something that I've learned from Brian Shannon at Alpha Trends is that if you have the failed moves that occur, then opposite moves is in the opposite direction. I learned from him at the end of the last decade, and he's helped a lot. Okay, take care.